Hello there, it's a lovely Friday. Thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast. I am Mike Okwoche, and I'm certainly not here alone. I am blessed amongst women. I have my colleagues here. Kemi is here, as well as Veronica Dan-Ikpoyi. Ladies, good morning. It's
Good morning. It's Mike and his angels. Good morning.
Yeah, it's Mike and her angels.
Right.
Morning, good to see you.
And in the words of Vero, the president, good morning.
You know.
Good morning. President. Good morning.
No, it feels good, but don't be carried away by it, you know. Well, it's good to see you all. Now, yesterday, there was a peace pact signed in Abuja, and the presence of almost everybody made it more of a glamour and all of that. But basically, it seemed like the issue of the peace pact has come to stay, where if there's any election coming, everybody now has to sign a peace pact.
It's indeed very laudable, and I don't know what strikes me about this particular edition is that it's coming way early. And you're right, we are seeing it now as a part of our culture, and the fact that the president was flanked by former presidents also say a lot. And then it also made me remember what Atiku Abubakar said at the launch of his campaign on Wednesday, where he said that the mandate was stolen, so to speak, and that so they are on a mission to rescue Nigeria and regain their stolen mandate. And of course, the world over, people continue to laud former President Goodluck Jonathan, for the peaceful transfer of power and all that. So it makes me wonder as in where the stolen mandate narrative, could have come in. And that is what we want to see, going further, that whether I am on this side and you are on that side, we all work together for a greater good. So it's really good.
Now, when elections start, of course, there are issues of fake news,
narrative,
hate speech, and stuff like that. I believe the peace pact is coming at the right time to set the tone for how it should go.
Perhaps I'm coming from a different perspective with regards to this peace pact. What has changed over time, every time we signed this peace pact? Did it change anything? Did it change the narrative of hate speech? Did it change the narrative of people using derogatory words against their fellow contestants and all of it? Did it change anything really? So for me, signing this peace pact is just a formality. If you really have the interest of Nigeria at heart, you don't necessarily need to sign a peace pact to know what to do and to caution everyone that is around you and do the right thing. That's from my perspective. Maybe I'm speaking based on moral grounds and all of it. Like you have pointed out, there is nothing as such in politics. But it doesn't hold these people to account. Peace pact does not hold people to account. After signing,
there's nothing binding about it.
There's nothing binding about it. It doesn't have any lawful backing, so to speak, that says if after signing this, if you fail to adhere to all of this,
or your supporters are
and all of that, there's also for me, it's just a ceremony. It's just a formality.
But the point there is, as much as it's a ceremony, but it seems to be working, because the point there is, if you compare the level of violence and the way people go about these things, it seems to be
I don't know if I could remind,
reducing.
Draw your attention back to sometime 2019, I think in Kogi State. And, it was a governorship, and this lady, a particular lady was part of those who, was running for the governorship that year. They signed a peace pact. In fact, they were about to sign a peace pact or so in that state, and there was chaos. There was chaos. It didn't change anything. Yeah. So that's for me, I feel the peace pact has not really done much until it has a legal backing that holds these persons to account. Then you can say that there's a peace pact.
All right. Now, the lawyers will talk about the Constitution and constitutionalism, which means the spirit of the Constitution itself. Sometimes yesterday you were talking about justice being done, and justice seemed to have been done. That seemed to have been done. Sometimes it's even more important, because that is the spirit of it, where, you don't need the letter, you don't need the book of it, but you need the attitude of it and all of that.
Absolutely.
So the idea of signing a peace pact and the spirit of that peace, talk to us from that.
but you both are right. You both are right. The spirit and the intent. But Okay, so maybe eventually we'll get to that point, but I think I agree that there is a lacuna in the system, because it's one thing to sign, and then there's also another angle of, okay, what about the foot soldiers? How does this bind them?
Exactly.
If their leaders are seen to be signing, what about the other people? So yes, there is a lacuna, and yes, there are some states that are prone to violence than others. It may be good in some states that, the issue of violence and the fears of violence erupting may not be as high, but then we cannot erode the fact that it is a top issue. And I think that is why the lawmakers are now bringing on board or contemplating the establishment of an electoral offenses commission, because yes, there is always that problem of what do we do with the thugs that are arrested before and during election, what do we do with them, and then the sponsors of these crimes. So if we can take that out of the plate of INEC and put that before in the mandate of such commission, perhaps we will make more progress. Yes, we are moving there. We seem to have the intention, even though that's debatable, but we still need to do more to bring people to account for their wrongdoings.
You know, I like the way lawyers speak. Eh?
Well, of course.
They seem to
They
have
can
this-
defend
exactly.
anything.
They seem to have the intention. They want to put everything straight in such a way that you don't hold them anywhere. They have said everything. They didn't say anything. But I think in the area of the peace pact, the point is we've seen that several other African countries that have experienced violence in the past are now looking, into the issue, the idea of the peace pact. Remember, Kenya just did the presidential election, and it was part of that process as well. And everybody saw how peaceful it was.
Absolutely.
And then those who were in the trenches in 2007 in Kenya, who said, we will not accept this.
No more.
But they were all around saying, okay, we are not satisfied with the process, but we might go to court, following the due process and so on.
That's because they have come to see what, not having peace has done to the country.
Okay.
They have seen the impact.
Yeah,
They have seen the impact.
the
And
price.
we don't have to go to that level to see. We can watch to see the impact of not having peace and all of that.
Okay.
But making up our minds, for me, is the major issue. Let's make up our minds to have a peaceful election.
Okay, we will have the peaceful election. Let's see how things go.